Welcome back, my wonderful friends. It's time once again for another chapter. Jon-Chan and the summit of Mount Dewnali. The two betrayals. I'm scared of this story. What's gonna happen to our neckbeard friends? As dawn broke, the neckbeardians woke. In the arid Chadlands, where they had to rest, they see crags and hills that they must crest. To face the Chads, normies, and Stacies too, their enemies numerous, whilst they are few. All these threats to find their mom for her tendies were the bomb. The expedition has grown worn under the scorching sky, their angst at an all-time high.
Hey, Joey, you think you can walk a little faster?
Asked Hunter.
The cracks don't offer much room to get around you.
Sorry, bud. I just gotta jot a few things down real quick. The neckbeardians were traveling single file through the jagged crags of Mount Deadlift, safe away from its steep mountainside. Still, the jagged rocks offered very little room to maneuver. Some of the neckbeardians had their rucksacks caught on jutting stone or sparse, tough vegetation that managed to survive and grow in these areas.
Bro, come on! You can write your lame-ass poems later. You're holding up the line!
Complained a visibly pissed off Hunter. Joey turned his back towards Hunter, only to find several of the beards exhausted, barely holding formation. I'ma say X to doubt, bud. Besides, what's your hurry anyway?
Ain't no hurry, fuck you!
Right back at you then, Joey replied without looking back.
You realize I'm a miner, right?
Oh, do you mine coal or Bitcoin?
Quit fucking around, asshat!
Hunter then proceeds to adjust his step so that he can stomp on the back of Joey's boots with every step. After several blows to his heel, Joey performed a 180 faster than nice guy's attitude after getting rejected. Alright, listen here, you little shit. Is there a problem here, gentlemen? Hunter looked past Joey, who was also frantically turned around to discover Inceliot Roger looming over them. Your outrageous barking and whining could alert our presence to the enemy. I'd prefer you fools be quiet, rather than to attract Chad and his whorish hordes. Inceliot looks towards the piece of parchment and pen that are in Joey's hands. Is this really worth all the fuss? Well, maybe not all the trouble, but I sure wouldn't say it's worthless, Joey replied. A poem can be a wonderful short retelling of our deeds, and how we felt. Wouldn't you agree? Inceliot didn't say a word. Instead, he grabbed the parchment and proceeded to tear it into several pieces, discarding it into the dirt. Now you have nothing, thus you have nothing to cry about. Inceliot turned around and followed the path. Also, poems are for betas. Joey was particularly disheartened at this. His long nose became a pathway for a single tear as the world's tiniest violin played. A sympathetic Hunter then patted his analyst friend on the back.
Oh, what a dickhead.
Jon-Chan and a forward element of the neckbeards were perched and laying prone on the edge of a cliffside, scouting the valley below. Several treacherous mountain ranges walled off the arid flatland in the belly of this valley. Through their binoculars, the neckbeardians could see sparse vegetation and trees, which isn't enough to cover them from the scorching rays of the sun or the watchful Chadian eyes. The scouts were bored out of their minds, as they saw nothing in the valley. One neckbeardian with a greasy ginger neck scruff and an Ahiago hoodie, we'll just call him Pervbeard, was so bored that he decided to piss in an empty bottle of water he stored in his hoodie. The bastard reeked of ammonia and hot cheese. The stench caused the other two scouts to recoil and vomit. Jon-Chan set down his binoculars to scratch his ass, finding satisfaction in this search with the disappearance of the itch out of his left ass cheek.
Alright, well, the coast looks clear. Let's tell everybody we're headed down there.
John, I don't know if going down there is right now a smart idea. We could get spotted by a patrol,
said Pervbeard.
So, what are you, Pervbeard? You a bitch or what? You're just afraid of a few Chads.
Jon-Chan decided now would be a good time to put Inceliot's lessons to the test. He had to show that he was a conqueror.
No, I just don't think we should take any needless risk,
Pervbeard stammered.
Well, if you're so afraid of a little risk, then I suggest you tuck your tail, go back much in order, you coward.
Jon-Chan gave Purrbeard an educational slap across the forehead. As Purrbeard stood up and fled from the belligerent Quickborn, 2 other scouts watched with worry. However, their gazes were averted as Jon-Chan turned towards them, yelling at them to get back to their survey. Jon-Chan felt as if he had more control, more options than he did before. Smacking that scout was refreshing, cathartic. He felt as if so much angst had just disappeared in the moment, when he bruised the Neckbeardian's head. However, after the slap, he felt even more anxious the others had noticed him. It felt good to remind them who the Quickborn was. He looked forward to the next time he could put someone in their place. Inceliot approached shortly after Purrbeard departed. "Excellent, Jonathan. You showed that cuck what a true gentleman is. For a true gentleman isn't to be questioned by his lessers."
Yeah, he is kind of a cuck, isn't he?
Jon-Chan replied skittishly. "I suppose we shall be going through the valley. Good. That way we won't have to traverse the crags to the mountainside. We could get to Dewtonia quicker this way as well." After an hour of resting in the cramped crags on one of the cliff's edges, the Neckbeardians descended from the cliff's edge into the valley below. Upon their arrival, the expedition extended themselves immediately, eager to distance themselves from one another and their foul odors. Jonathan went to rest under a small tree that was barely taller than himself. Upon nearing the tree, he noticed that near the top grew a rather cumbersome-looking black fruit. He circled around the tree to find that odd and large onyx fruits were mere plastic and more than organic, and they had the label "Way" stenciled into them. "That must be the way tree," said an awestruck Joey. "Chads would migrate for hundreds of miles to mix and consume the smallest teaspoons of protein powder in these things."
Well, it's just a stupid tree. I bet it tastes like ass.
Joey was a little puzzled, but then smirked, saying, "Are you talking about the tree itself, or, Jon-Chan sighed at Joey's pitiful jokes and was about to make a comment until he was interrupted by a certain gentleman. "All right, Jonathan. Enough time has been wasted. We must move on," demanded Inceliot. "Now wait just a darn tootin' minute there, Rogers. The scroll boy who couldn't move any faster than a tortoise is now approaching me with the speed of a train. Finally, you have some pep in your step." Inceliot crossed his arms, his face becoming more smug than Pepe. "You shut up, you jackass. We wouldn't be moving in this open during the day. We're too exposed, and we're likely to be dead before we reach Hentiopolis." "Some of you may die, but that is the sacrifice that you, and everyone will take. After all, how will you feed the people of Basementia, your loved ones? Or will you let them perish because you lack the necessary tendies to survive?" "It's likely that none of us will survive if we get ambushed by Chad," Joey hissed while slamming his fist into his open right hand. "Jon-Chan, we can't do this. We should wait until dark and they can't see us. Just listen to me."
No! We stick to the plan. We can't just whisk out whenever we feel scared. Quit being such a cuck. Jon-Chan, don't be dumb. We shouldn't take any risks to get to Dewtonia. We have plenty of time before...
Jon-Chan slapped a whey protein fruit from the tree directly into Hunter. Upon impact, the plastic fruit shattered, and a thick cloud of chocolate protein powder covered the 2 Neckbeardians.
Stop trivializing everything I say, you troll. Quit attacking me.
The whole expedition had their attention turned towards this incident. It was uncertain as to whether Hunter was crying due to the intense exposure to the protein powder or due to John's outburst. Jon could see everyone, Joey, Damien, Rebecca, Spearbeard, Thirstbeard, and the rest of his brothers in arms, cast gaze of discontent at him. "You know what, Jonathan? The night we fought against those Karens was the night I began to think of you as someone truly special. You're able to let yourself become inviting, vulnerable, and to some extent you cared about your fellow man. I see that was a fluke. You're just like all the other fucks back in Basementia. You could care less about those around you. You just want your own tendies and your waifus, whatever the hell else you can get out of this mission. It's especially evident now that you're disregarding our safety to finish this as quickly as you can. Joey's face became redder and redder, tears dripping down his face. Fuck you, Jon-Chan. Jonathan was irate at his loss of control. He thought he was in charge. He thought to charge and pummel the analyst for his disrespect. That was until Spearbeard toppled backwards and spazzed out like an upside-down cockroach on cocaine. The neckbeards looked around and darted for cover in sparse foliage. Jon-Chan, Joey, and Selliot took cover behind a rock next to the incapacitated Spearbeard, only to find a syringe with fin stabilizers embedded into Spearbeard's chest.
Holy shit, it's a steroid syringe! The Chad sniper!
From out of the crags behind Neckbeardians came a series of war cries, screaming, "Bruh!" Several hundred marauding Chads and Normies poured out of the crags of the mountains. You could smell the Axe body spray as they made their descent. One Chad was using a Normie as a makeshift snowboard, descending down the mountain. The Normie took selfies of himself as a human sports equipment, just to tag Chad in his Instagram posts.
So what are we gonna do inside?
Jon-Chan asked, only to find Inceliot was not next to him, but running away in the opposite direction. "Run, you fools!" As the expedition ran, hundreds of steroid syringes and dodgeballs rained down on them from the mountain, striking several of the Neckbeardians, killing them instantly. "Remember," Joey started saying, "always move in a serpentine pattern." Some of the Neckbeardians did move in a serpentine, only to stumble into one another and be left behind to be annihilated by the Chads. After a minute of running, the barrage stopped. Jon-Chan turned his head back towards the crags, only to discover several dozen Chads and Normies gaining on them. Pervbeard was the slowest of the herd. He was tackled by an alpha wearing a tap-out shirt and shades. He managed to give the Chad a swift punch to the dick, yet Chad's magnum dong was hard as titanium, which crushed Pervbeard's hand on impact. In a last-ditch effort, Pervbeard pulled out the jug from his Ahiago shirt and performed Naruto hand movements despite his broken hand. The piss jug shook and seconds later erupted molten hot fragmentation, urine and plastic, consuming the Chad and several approaching Normies, ending the lives of all caught in the blast. Chads were rapidly gaining on the Neckbeards. Those who were lagging stood their ground to fight them, slowing down their advance for their friends to escape. Yet one by one, they were dropping like Simps' bank accounts. After several minutes of running through the valley, Jon-Chan and a cluster of Neckbeardians reached the crags on the other side, taking cover with the natural fortification. John looked around to find Joey, Hunter, Thirstbeard, and Inceliot in his presence. He found no sign of the others, such as Damien or Rebecca, in their midst. Perhaps they too had fallen to the Chads.
"We gotta get out of here,"
yelled a terrified Thirstbeard. "That horde is gonna hand our ass to us no matter where we go," exclaimed Joey.
"Not us,"
Selliot replied.
"Him."
And Selliot was pointing his fingers at Hunter, who was covered from head to toe in whey protein powder.
"They can track his scent. The Chads crave it."
I could just wash it off, man.
Stammered Hunter, who was already pouring some of his water into the protein powder. The whey powder coagulated into a semi-solid matter that made it stick to the arm of the cloak of Hunter.
I can't get it off. Oh, what the hell?
"It's all right, buddy. Calm down. We'll try another way," Joey said, trying to calm his friend's nerves.
"There's no time. We must leave the boy behind,"
Inceliot said, drawing his sword.
"What the hell are you talking about? I know we don't see eye to eye, but this is the most cutthroat thing I've ever heard from you."
Joey drew his own blade, directing it towards the supreme gentleman.
"We don't leave our friends behind. What kind of world do you come from?"
Thirstbeard then drew his katana, raising it in the air, charging at St. Rogers with the speed of 10 Lightning McQueens. As Thirstbeard neared his opponent, he let out a Tenno Hentai Bonsai. I'm afraid to know what any of those things mean, only to be silenced and to be halved by Inceliot's own blade. Inceliot then slashed at Joey's legs, incapacitating the analyst. Hunter drew a dagger and stabbed the incel in the chest, right before being cut down by Inceliot's sword.
John, help!"
beckoned a weak, bleeding Joey. However, Jon-Chan was frozen, uncertain of what he should do. Inceliot walked in a determined heavy stride towards Joey and pointed his weapon towards the poor neckbeard's face.
"Welcome to my twisted world."
Joey's breathing ceased after the sword was lodged into his right breast. ending the analyst's life. And Celiot then dug into the analyst's rucksack, removing a map to Dewtonia.
You won't be needing this.
And Celiot then turned to Jon-Chan, who was clutching his Sonichu medallion, staring at the man who had killed his friend.
I do hope that your intent is not to kill me with that. If so, prepare to be disappointed.
You killed them. You killed my friends.
The very same friends who were just about to mutiny and leave your side, retorted the armored incel, chuckling maniacally. You were better off without them slowing you down.
And Celiot steadily approached Jon-Chan, his eyes focused upon those of the Quickborn.
Together, we can find Mom, return to Base Minty, and wage war against these monsters. Their sacrifices will not be in vain. We restore Neckbeardy and the incels to their rightful place.
I can't. Not like this.
Jon-Chan tried to back away, only to find his retreat shadowed by Celiot's advances.
Well, if that's the case, remember, the foolish and indecisive will be left behind by history.
Jon-Chan ducked and rolled past Celiot, grabbing Thurstbeard's katana after landing on his feet. Celiot charged, and Jon-Chan propelled himself towards his enemy like a coiled spring, using his master's training and techniques against him. Celiot slowly retreated, reacting swiftly to Jon's furious blows. The two were engaging in fluid and furious dance of sweat, blood, and steel. The two duelists eventually made their way towards the edge of the crags, overlooking the valley and Deadlift mountain range. Jon managed to land a blow on Celiot's armor, causing the incel saint to stumble backwards like a giraffe that was totally plastered on whiskey mixers. This little blow encouraged the daring Jon-Chan to redirect his katana for an overhead slash. After a quick spin to gain momentum necessary, his final turn ended in agony. His body trembling from an intense pain, he looked down to his abdomen to find a sword lodged 6 inches deep into his flesh, blood flowing out of the wound like a broken dam. He was tricked, bamboozled, and now he was defeated. So long, old friend. And Celiot gave his farewell and proceeded to lift his leg. As he launched his foot into Jon-Chan, the Quickborn grabbed the incel's leg and swung him over the edge, but not without Celiot having established a grip on Jon-Chan's Sonichu medallion. His strength yanked the medallion from Jon's neck, yet the force was significant enough to pull Jon with him. The two then proceeded to plummet to the earth below. The battered, bloody body of Jonathan Easton Chandler managed to crawl to a small crevice after his long fall. He could hardly see out of either of his eyes. They were too drenched in a sea of red. He could only crawl like a blind, limp mole to what seemed to be safety. Unfortunately, his resting place was found to be uncomfortable, as he had nary the strength nor the help of his friends to prop him up. This left the wounded warrior laying on the ground, struggling for breath, focusing half his concentration on manual breathing. He wondered if he had acted quickly, his friends would not have been cut down. He knew that he could have done something. He was to pick sides. Jon-Chan's breathing became more faint as time went on. He continued to struggle for breath for what seemed like an hour. Time was not easily determined when your sight and much of your feeling and bones were disabled. There was no going home. There would be no tendies or friends and loved ones to welcome him, or even to give him a proper farewell. At least he would die knowing that he took out one evil in this world. His vision faded. His sense of touch grew numb. And then there was silence.
Yo, come on, bro. Give me the fucking pads, dude. Yo, I'm sorry, man. Defib's right here. Clear this shit, my guy.
Jon-Chan re-emerged from his silence, his body full of electric life.
Shibble, I'm alive,
he thought. His vision returned to normal for the first time since his demise. Jon-Chan was a witness to a fearsome sight, revealed in the bright lights from above. Looming over the bench press table converted operating was a 6'1" demigod with blonde hair shaped like an anvil. The muscles on this remarkable specimen bulged and pulsated with every inhale. And speaking of bulge, it was very noticeable. The being wore green sweatpants and a red A shirt with the word "ouch" drawn with chalk. But probably the most fearsome thing were his eyes, deep blue sea of infinity, uncertain, forcing its way into John's soul. Hey man, you gonna be okay? Just fucking breathe, my guy, it's cool. It's been a hot minute. Said, or rather, shouted this demigod. I need you in tip-top shape, bro. I still gotta take you to Mom. Jon-Chan was astonished. There was a Chad right in front of him, and he hadn't killed him. Oh, shit, mouthed Jon-Chan, who was unable to even get the words out. Bro, relax. You two are in good hands now, man, said the Chad. Nobody's gonna hurt you. Now, what's your name, bro?
My name is John.
Jon-Chan was confused by you two. He looked to the operating table to his right, anticipating Inceliot to rest on the table, but was relieved to find it was Hunter, breathing and alive. He was glad to find that one of his friends had survived. John? The Chadrich horror repeated his answer. Huh, figured you might have a dorkier name like Ezekiel or Damien, but John's pretty cool, bro. There was an awkward silence that hung in the air. Well, it was awkward for Jon-Chan. Chad didn't seem unnerved by this at all, almost like he had a lot on his mind in that particular moment. Okay, so, probably shouldn't be doing this, but I made a promise to Mom that if any of you guys were to return, to take you to her ASAP. As he said that, a young man wearing a wiry frame glasses and brown and tan rugby shirt, quite similar to Jon-Chan's red and blue classic, approached him from the darkness beside Hunter's table. The young man had an innocent smile and an old-fashioned classical guitar in his hand. So, who are you? Asked the quick-born. Bro, my name's Chad Thundercock. This is my bard and faithful friend, Isaiah Brandon Anderson. We're gonna take you to Mom. You're coming home, bro. Oh, man. Oh, fuck. Okay. There's this little bit at the bottom that I have to read for you guys before we do this. A note from our wonderful writer. Okay, you guys. This is the second to last installment of Jon-Chan. I'll post the final chapter tomorrow, the day before I have to leave for work. I've been having a lot of fun writing for this, you guys, and I really hope you enjoy it. Stay alert for the next post. I'm gonna go get sloshed tonight on whiskey mixers and smearing off with the guys. I have been fucking adoring this, dude. I absolutely love this fucking story. This has been 10 kinds of amazing. I can't... Oh, this is so good. And what a bunch of fucking twists and crazy shit. I knew that fucking Inceliot was some creepy bastard. I didn't trust him from the first place. That's why I kept giving him, like, the Emperor Palpatine voice right at the end. But... Shit, dude. Shit. That is so fucking crazy. I'm so excited to see what the last chapter is going to be. Thank you so much for writing this. This is so amazing. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. I fucking love this. So, thank you all for being here. If you have your own story you want to send me, you can send it to the subreddit, r/Moonhorse Stories. There's also a merch store. You can buy all of these things. I don't know why I started that sentence like that, because I didn't actually describe anything. You can get all these things, or whatever the fuck you want. I keep fucking this up. Links down there. Get them. I'm too excited. I'm fucking it up. I'm sorry. But I love you all, and that's what matters. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay. Bye.